Hey, so as some of you know, I've been on staff at a number of churches. And the most recent one I think is local. And I left that church staff in January 2022. But but I want to tell you a couple stories. For one of them, I was on staff. For the other one, I had just left staff not too long before this incident. The first story is we were, as a church, hosting a marriage conference. And I think we probably had, I don't know, 40 or 50 couples attending. And we had brought in pastors from other churches to speak. And in one of the main sessions in the auditorium, bigger breakout session, this pastor from a local church in the next town over and his wife were sitting on stage and they were talking about physical intimacy, sex. And this pastor makes this point that they have a dog, the dog's man's best friend. And when it comes to your dog, you can do everything with your dog that you can do with your wife except for one thing. And that one thing is sex. Immediately, all of our jaws dropped. We were just like, what? I looked at my wife. I was like, what did he? And she looked at me and was like, are you serious? A pastor's wife got up and walked out. The session ended and there were probably like 30 couples in there. It was pretty full. And I went immediately to the lead pastor and then the creative director, and my wife went to the creative director, and like we talked with people. And I was on staff at the time, and I was like, we cannot put this DVD out. He needs to be corrected. He cannot be allowed to come speak here again, which they didn't invite him back to speak ever again, I don't think. And I was like, man, you need to, like, you're the lead pastor, like, care for your congregation here and put an email out to the people who attended and just be like, we're aware that this thing was said. That's not our stance. And you have a chance to, like, really lead here and set the example for these young couples and married couples who heard this pastor with authority say this. And he did not. He chose not to. They didn't put the DVD out, but he did not lead his congregation in that moment. And so 30 couples, some of them newlyweds, heard this: your wife is good for one thing, sex. The second story, I wasn't on staff. I wasn't even there, except that a person who used to be a friend at the time was a friend, told me about it. And they were having this men's baby shower. They called it a bachelor party because baby showers too feminine, I guess, for them. But everybody of prominence in the men's ministry at that same church were there. This friend came and told me afterwards, was like, man, it was crazy. Like, we were giving advice to this soon to be new dad. And one of the guys who was an important part of the men's ministry, like, but his advice to the new dad to be was, when the baby's being born, don't watch the baby come out because it'll ruin your fishing hole. So he referred to this man's wife's private area, vaginal area, as his fishing hole, and said, watching the miracle of life happen will ruin your experience. In both cases, women were objectified. Nobody said anything. I was just like, dude, did somebody say something? And he was like, nope. I was like, did you? And he's like, no, I didn't know what to say. I went and talked with a couple of people, but I was not on staff and I was unimportant at that time. So nobody listened to what Bruce said. When all of these men who are saying 62 million men, it wasn't 62 million men, it was 62 million hits. Um, these were supposed to be men who were committed to following Jesus and protecting women. And I know that this is not uncommon in evangelical spaces. I've grown up in them, but that is why it's all men until it's no men, because men who it's supposed to protect don't. And men who are supposed to call those men out don't. And so if you're one of the guys and being like, it's not 62 million men, you're part of the problem and you're a monster just as well. You're a monster. You are the problem.